welcome to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about weddings and difference between them in the US and the UK.
Yeah, I can't believe we've never done this episode before.
I thought we had. I looked through, but no, we haven't. We've briefly touched upon the subject. We've briefly touched upon many subjects that we're probably going to make into podcasts or episodes later on in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to talk. We got like a list of 10 here that come from InsideWeddings.com.
Yeah, well, June is a really popular month.
And June is a popular month for weddings. And yeah.
You always hear about that June bride.
I want to be
a June bride.
I don't know, yeah.
It's because the weather is typically
nicer and everything. Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it raining on your wedding day. That's a big, bad luck thing, supposedly, if it rains on your wedding day.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, I'm not really familiar with all the traditions because the very first wedding I went to in my whole life was my own.
Yeah.
So there you go. You know, my wedding virginity was part with my own.
Oh my god, that is so weird.
Yeah, because you've been to a few as a kid, but I just didn't have a large family.
Yeah.
Or like friends who got married.
Yeah. Yeah, all the weddings I had been to were like family, except for maybe like one or two friends' weddings. People of my age before my own. I mean, and I wasn't that young getting married, so it just tells you, everybody else I knew waited even later to get married.
Well, yeah. I mean, after our wedding, it seemed like we were going to weddings all the time then.
Yeah.
It was like we were in demand for all the weddings, But no, it's like, and you found it very strange and stuff, but it was just kind of like, growing up, it was just me and my dad, really, and I mean, my sister got married and everything, but I never went to her wedding. Because
everybody in your family was quite a bit older.
A bit older, yeah.
So, already married.
Already married or not wanting to get married.
Yeah.
Or divorced or whatever, It was just a case of,
yeah.
There was no weddings to go to, and my friends, didn't want to get married. Well, I think a couple of them still aren't married, so,
Yeah. But it's really unfortunate this year with everything that's going on that so many people have had to postpone their weddings, and I've seen a bunch say that they've even just canceled them. That's
canceled
it.
The
We're
wedding.
not getting married.
Not getting married ever.
I thought that was
we can't get married this year. We're never getting married at all.
I think, it's like this year's a bad omen. I wouldn't want to get married this year.
Well, no. I mean,
nothing.
We're going into the 20s now, and it's not so great so far.
It's not looking so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. If you want to get married bad enough, you're going to go ahead and get married. I would think. I mean, I've seen stories of people getting married over Zoom and things like that. The ministers just they're talking with them. It's like, let's just we were planning on getting married. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And then they can just, I guess, mail each other the certificates,
the documents and stuff.
They have to sign. Yeah. It's like, if you want to postpone it. If you want to cancel it altogether, then that's...
Well, yeah.
I've been surprised at how many people have used the word cancel, though, in saying, we were going to
canceling this wedding.
We were going to go to my sister's wedding, but, this COVID stuff happened, and they've canceled it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't you mean postpone? Oh, no, they've just canceled.
They've just canceled, and we're never going to hear from it.
Maybe it's like, we've postponing means, we have another day in mind. Maybe.
Well, yeah, we're going to postpone until all this is over, and then it's back on track. That's what I presume
maybe just cancel is we don't know yet when we're gonna reschedule for, so we're just saying it's just canceled.
Yeah,
now,
it's canceled.
But anyway, there's a lot of differences.
There is a lot of differences. People think, it's going to be similar, but no, actually, it's not that similar.
Yeah.
I've never been to a British wedding, so I don't know. I mean, I've had to look this stuff up.
I mean, I didn't look at the list that you've come up with here, but did you go to bachelor and bachelorette parties, and does it include that, or is this just things about the wedding?
No, this includes all the traditions that surround it.
Okay. All right, let's go.
The first one actually is number one is the couples living in Great Britain. They call it Great Britain. Do not have as many pre-wedding activities as those in the United States, which like means like they do have bachelor and bachelorette parties, and what are they called?
Oh, hen do's and stag do's.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, if you ever see, and you know, that's one thing I did see growing up, is so many hen do's and so many stag do's.
Yeah.
Stag parties and stag nights and hen do's and everything like that, you know, women out on the town.
I can't believe women in the UK are, like, okay with referring to their parties as hen do's. It's like, no, I'm a bachelor, I'm a bachelorette, you know?
Well, it's like...
A hen.
You're a little hen and the guy's a stag, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a little hen, they cluck, and stags lock their horns, you know? That's what I'm assuming that's where it came from.
They cluck, hens cluck, yes.
And they're clucking away on their hen do.
No, but I've seen, like, in movies, or is it, yeah.
The Bachelorette Party.
No,
that's a movie, isn't it?
The hen do's, though, they dress up so stupid.
They dress up in like team colors, you know. It's like
I've seen them wear like crazy socks and like tutus and everything.
Yeah,
I guess they do that sometimes.
No, stag do's are even worse too. You know, it's like, oh, Johnny's stag do, you know, 2020.
Yeah.
And you know, it'll be like a T-shirt that they'll have made, and then they'll have like Johnny will have like the groom or something. You know, you'll have a different one, but it'll like show that he's a groom. You'll have a hat on or something. Yeah. You know. And you'll be like, yeah, we're going out for Johnny's stag do, innit? Yeah, right, mate, yeah.
Are strippers a big part of that in Britain? Going to
it depends.
Being a stripper, you know?
I mean, it depends if you're going to have it, like, they might take him to a strip club, I guess.
I never went to a bachelorette party that
but
actually had a stripper.
Usually what it was, it'll be like a pub crawl.
Yeah.
And it'll be going around the bars and getting drunk and then ending up with a kebab, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's similar.
And you know, it's like the whole like stereotype is like, well, I'm good. Now you're not going out with your mates and that stag do. No, it's just a couple of cans, love. We're just gonna have a couple of cans with the boys and a pizza. Probably watch TV. You know, it'll be all right. You know. But then they end up on the freaking tube. You know, way giving it large, mate. You know, and then she goes out with her mates.
It's like a tradition now, though, to mix parties, and you just all go out together, the boys and the girls. I've seen that happening more and more.
I mean, yeah, that's just to allay any fears that one or the other's going to cheat on the other one, you know?
Yeah.
Or both, or whatever, you know?
I only went to one bachelorette party that was like a stereotypical wild kind of bachelorette party.
Well, you had a male stripper?
And they didn't, surprisingly. We went just to a club, some crazy club that I've never been to, that I had never been to before that and have never been to since. It's like a club that, oh God, this was years ago. I can't even remember what it was called. A club that had different types of clubs inside it. It was it was like a super center of clubs.
It was like a mall of clubs.
Yeah, and it had like a western one in it, or it had like a hip hop, or
like
it
a
had
bar.
Just, like,
yeah, they do that in London.
Music,
and I've heard of that happening in Cardiff and London and stuff. You know, they have like a huge like mall, kind of like market area.
Yeah.
And each one's a different themed bar, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, mate.
It was bizarre.
Bit weird.
But the girl. This is someone I worked with, by the way. I
think I knew you then.
I don't want to say not a friend of mine, but you know, like work friend. It's not quite the same thing. But she had, I think one of her friends had made her this. Of course, she had the tiara on, and I don't know why these things are like tradition. I'm pretty sure they didn't exist before.
It's usually like a tiara with the veil or whatever it is, you know.
But I think they didn't. These kinds of parties didn't really exist 20 or 30 years ago. Like, they've only been fairly recent.
Yeah.
But anyway, she had on all the stereotypical thing. We drank out of penis straws. They gave us like goodie bags with all the penis paraphernalia, and like she had on.
And the funny thing is, in stag do's in Britain, you'll get that kind of crap too. It'll be all like penis.
At stag do?
Yeah, you know, just like as a joke, you know, like, oh, Johnny's gonna go around with that huge inflatable cock, you know. And he's got to take it on the tube and ha ha ha, you know.
Yeah.
Or they'll handcuff him to the thing, you know, and leave him there.
But this girl, she had her friend had made her this T-shirt that said, I'm getting married, something like that. Suck for $1. And it was all these lifesavers. I don't know, in Britain, polos, is that what they're called?
Yeah. Mint. Like mint ones?
Yeah, no, they were just like...
The fruity ones?
The fruity ones,
yeah. We've got fruity polos in Britain.
All glued to the front and back of the shirt. And, like, you could pay her $1 to suck one off the shirt.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would I want to pay someone to suck something off their shirt?
Because it's, like, men doing it, isn't it?
Well, if it's men doing it, then, you know, you've just got another job for the evening, haven't you? You know?
Perverted, disgusting men. Some people were just coming up and going, oh yeah, congratulations. Just giving her $1 or whatever. And then she pinned them to the shirt. But it was so bizarre. I was like, I would not want...
world.
I mean, first of all, they're glued to the shirt. So it's like, who wants to like come and
put your
suck
mouth on that
off and like get the glue and I don't know. The whole thing was really weird. But yeah, that was my...
experience.
My crazy bachelorette party experience.
I mean, I've never been on a stag do, not that I can remember. Maybe I have, but it was some guy getting married, and I think it was some guy getting married in a pub, and it wasn't really even a stag do. It was just he was just there. He was just there, you know. He was just there, and he was just like, I'm getting married tomorrow.
Yeah,
because typically they take place the night before the wedding. Which is why, you know, like the big joke is to handcuff them to a lamppost or something, you know, and leave them there for the, you know, until morning, and it's just like, haha, you know, we'll come and get you if you know. So really the only difference between Britain and America on that one is the name, what they're called. Yeah. I think bachelor and bachelorette party, I like that better than hen and stag. Stag do. Yeah. Do you remember that show that we watched called Stag? Yeah. That was about a stag do that went crazy in the Scottish Highlands. It was like a mini-series. Yeah, it was good, so I recommend it. It was crazy. And of course, just as a quick aside, in Britain they don't hold bridal showers or rehearsal dinners. I mean, that's not the typical norm. I mean, some people might now, you know. They might be like, oh, I want to be American and do that, you know. So, for our British listeners, in case you don't know, a bridal shower is just a party where... It's a party where you get in the shower and turn it on. A party where people bring the bride gifts, and the groom can be there or not. You know, it can be just like another all-women party, or it can be, like, mixed, you know, men and women. It just depends on the person. And you just come and give them gifts, don't you? Gifts, and I mean, it's a bit excessive. Sort of like housewarming type. Well, you don't give them gifts at the bachelorette party. That's just all about partying. You give them gifts at the wedding, though. Yeah. So why give them a gift before the wedding? Here's a pre-wedding gift, and I've got you one for the wedding, too. It's just a bit excessive. No, I think you can give the wedding gift at the bridal shower. I think. Oh, okay. But you also, I say that. Don't know what etiquette is on that one. But you also might get things at a bridal shower like wedding night lingerie. Like, you know, somebody might give you that because it's technically, you know, it's the bridal shower. So it's the bride. Sometimes you might give, you're not really going to give like trashy stuff like you would at a bachelorette party. But you might give like some pretty kind of like night flowy dresses, lingerie type stuff, but mostly it is like just wedding gift your shower type things. The reason it's called a bridal shower is because you're showering them with gifts. It's not you've got to put the bride in the shower and just sit there. Yeah, you know? Yeah. The rehearsal dinner. We never had one, did we? Well, no, our wedding was not big enough. Usually you only need to have a rehearsal dinner if you have a really big bridal party. If you've got like an orchestra, an 18-piece orchestra. No! Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it is.
It's just to rehearse the wedding, basically. It's just if you have a big bridal party, you've got to organize, like, who's going to walk down the aisle with whom. And,
yeah, that big stuff.
All of that kind of stuff. So you want to get the timing right with the music and all of that. But, I mean, it was literally just me and Dominic and mostly my family and his dad at our wedding.
Yeah,
so
that was it. It was a very small affair.
It was very small, yeah.
Number 2 is British brides will buy their bridesmaids' dresses while American bridesmaids usually purchase their own. Is that... Okay.
British brides buy their bridesmaids' dresses. That's much nicer.
That's nicer, yeah.
I
mean, and then you have control over it. And then, you know, the bridesmaid goes, "Ooh, don't like that colour, I don't like a colour scheme." You know, it's just like...
Oh, no, that's not what that means. No, in America, at big American weddings, the American bride will still pick out the dress that she wants the bridesmaids to wear. But you have to pay for it. They have to pay for it.
So it's a bit like the wall then.
And that, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it depends on the budget of the people getting married. They might have it in their budget to buy all their bridesmaids' dresses, you know?
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, if you have the budget, then someone's paying for the whole thing, and it's just whoever's going to be in the wedding gets it all free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, typically American guests are invited to all parts of the wedding ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception, while British weddings have an A-list and B-list. Acquaintances or unknown dates for the B-list are only invited to the evening portion of the celebration, so they're not actually invited to the wedding itself.
That's so hilarious.
Because, and I mean, that's kind of okay. I mean, because, you know, it's like someone you don't know is at your wedding watching you get married, you know?
Yeah.
It's usually, you know, it's like, oh, it's fine if you're having a party and everything. It's just like, that's a party.
Yeah.
But someone says sitting in the church or wherever you have this wedding watching you actually tie the knot, and it's just like, oh, it's Jane's day or it's Martin's day, you know, or whatever, you know. I don't know them.
Yeah.
It's like, why are they here? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, they should have come to the thing, you know, because sometimes...
But to actually not get you're not invited to the wedding, you're only invited to the party.
I'm going to the
That's
wedding,
so weird.
and I'll meet you at the reception. That's what usually happens,
yeah.
you know? And that's what happens. I think people are okay with that, you know? I mean, you know...
I mean, quite honestly, weddings are so expensive, and the party part is the most expensive part. I would rather it be opposite. Like, everybody can come watch me get married, and then only a few of you get to come to the party, because, like...
You have the privilege and honour of watching me get married, but you're not coming for the free drink, mate.
The free drinks, food. I'm not going to pay for your dinner, like, you know, I'm not going to pay for the band so that you can dance for free all
You're not
night.
dancing at my reception. Get out of here. You get out of here.
No, it makes sense. I mean, especially in Britain, a lot of the churches... They're
small.
Yeah,
they're
the more
they're not like super centers like over here, you know.
Yeah, and in England you don't have the option, or maybe you do now, but you didn't used to have the option of getting married outside of a church. Or
I think they've changed the law on that now. You can actually apply for a license to get married wherever you want.
Because if you're getting married on a hillside, it's just like, you know, folding chairs are not that expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who cares how many people show up for the ceremony?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do get that. I just find it weird, like, oh, you only receive an invitation for, please come to my wedding reception.
You're on the B list. You're not on the A list. You're on the B list.
You're not an A-lister. Sorry,
I know the bride or the groom. You don't, so you're on the B list.
That's so funny. I didn't know that.
I've heard of that before. Yeah. Number 4, female guests at weddings in the United Kingdom will don elaborate hats or fascinators, which is uncommon attire in the United States.
I love that tradition.
You love a good old fascinator, don't you?
Love.
Ever since you saw your old buddy Kate Middleton get one.
No, I mean, I'm a hat person anyway. I love hats.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the idea of everybody wearing a hat to my wedding.
Or a little fascinator, a little hat, you know, and they're just all like plumage everywhere. Crazy hats.
Yeah, I love that. And you definitely do not see, like, it would be very rare, actually, to see a wedding guest in America with a hat on.
Well, in Texas, it'd be too bloody hot, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine you're having an outside wedding, you've got to wear like a really fancy hat that didn't breathe or anything, you know, you'd be sweating. Yeah. Number 5, British bridal parties are usually smaller than those in the United States, and instead of a maid of honor, a bride selects a chief bridesmaid. The bridal party precedes the bride in the US, but follows the bride in the UK. British bridesmaids sit during the ceremony, while most American bridesmaids stand beside the bride throughout the service. Yeah.
So what? So there's no maid of honor.
There's no maid of honor. It's like there's a chief bridesmaid.
But which is the same thing.
It's the
just
same
a different
thing.
Title.
And the chief bridesmaid gets to order the other bridesmaids around. That's what it is, you know. She's in charge of them.
She's a bridesmaid in chief.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean that's basically the same thing as the maid of honor. Just
I think
like
that there might be a
title.
chief groomsman as well, if it's going to be a lot of groomsmen too.
Yeah.
But
I did notice that at especially the royal weddings that the bride comes down first and then the bridal party follows. I don't understand that. That's like weird to me. The bride is the main event. In America, the bride is the main event. So
you
wedding
want the
party,
support act comes on first.
Basically.
Yeah.
That you have, it goes like, first of all, the little groomsman comes down the thing with his
with his
little groomsman. No, what are they
page
called?
boy?
The ring bearer. We call them the ring bearer.
Yeah.
And he'll have a little pillow with the wedding rings on it, you know, and he comes down the aisle. And then the little flower girls come down, and you might have one or two. This all depends on the people, how big the wedding is,
and
the
who's planned this, and everything. Yeah.
But traditionally, this is how it goes. And then the little flower girls come out, and they spread petals all along the path.
Oh yeah,
They might come out just before the bride, because I think the petals are just for the bride to walk over. I don't think the wedding
the
party
groom do any of that. Yeah,
because in Britain all the groomsmen are already standing up at the front with the groom waiting, aren't they? They don't come down the aisle at all, I don't think.
Yeah, that's my next point actually as well.
I'm getting ahead, am I?
I'm getting a little bit ahead, but it's okay because it's kind of segues into it, you know.
Because in America they walk side by side, like you'll have an even number of groomsmen that you have for bridesmaids, and they'll escort the bridesmaid down the aisle. Yeah. And so then once they get up there, the groomsmen go to the groom's side, the bridesmaids go to the bride's side. And they'll stand up there like in a show of support for their buddies getting married.
My buddy!
Or their siblings,
getting married,
or their cousins, or whoever, you know. They'll stand up there with their bouquets and everything, and then dun 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 dun, and then she comes out, and she's the main attraction, and everybody stands up. Yes. When she comes out, but they don't stand up for anybody else. Yeah. And usually she'll be escorted by her dad, or if her dad is not living, or if they don't have a good relationship, then it'll just be whoever else. You know, maybe her mom, maybe her stepdad, maybe her uncle, whatever. You know. Because it's got all that old-fashioned thing. I don't know if they do that. I'm probably going into another one of your things, but I don't know if in Britain, if the dad gives the bride away.
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, he does. And because, you know, it's like, we're going to the royal wedding now, but Meghan Markle was given away by Charles.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Prince Charles, wasn't she? Yeah, he walked her down the aisle.
But that's so weird. So the groomsmen, do they sit also, or is it just the bridesmaids who sit?
I think they can sit. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't really remember. But in number 6, the point number 6 is in the UK the groom traditionally faces away from the bride until she gets to the altar.
That's so weird.
Yeah, he's not allowed to turn around.
Why?
Because it's just kind of like, you know, and then he you know, he faces until she gets to the altar, and then he turns. And
but he doesn't have time to like cry and feel like he's gonna pass out while he sees her walking toward him if he's not.
Are you talking about me? Are you?
No, I was just talking
He doesn't have time to cry or feel like he's going to pass out. I mean, he has time to cry and feel like he's going to pass out.
But he can't see her.
But he can't see her.
The whole thing is like seeing her coming toward him.
Yeah, because I mean, he won't see her until...
And just going, oh my god, I'm about to get married.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm going to run.
Yeah. Number 7... It is very uncommon for British couples to write their own vows, since the majority of the population weds in the Church of England, which follows a strict script.
I don't mind that, really.
Yeah, writing the whole vows and stuff. You know.
Sometimes people's vows are like
they're
too
long,
personal.
and they're long-winded too. Some of them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bloody crazy, mate.
Sometimes they're like way too personal, and it's like I really don't need to hear all of this. Like,
and it's just like, oh.
It's like you guys can just tell each other these things in private. Like, yeah. They're usually super sappy. Like everybody's bawling, and it's just like, oh god.
Number 8 is, while in the United States it is frowned upon for the best man to tell embarrassing stories, he's actually supposed to roast the groom in Great Britain. The maid of honour or chief bridesmaid in the UK does not give a toast like in the US, only men give speeches in British weddings. A British groom is liable to give a full speech instead of a brief toast thanking the guests like in the States.
That is a load of crap.
No, it's supposed to be like he's supposed to get up and say, "Oh, when we were 15."
No, I mean, why do only
Johnny fell out the window?
Only men give speeches in British weddings. What is that all about?
That's just. I mean, again, that's kind of like that's just been the tradition.
Old-fashioned things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's not that way necessarily.
No. But of course, like in the US, I thought they roasted them in the US too.
I don't know that it's frowned upon. I mean, the weddings I've been to,
it's like, oh, don't tell embarrassing stories about Johnny here. Yeah. Don't talk about Johnny's ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, you know? I don't know that it's frowned upon. I mean, the weddings I've been to, I think they're not like super raunchy. I think in Britain maybe they can get super raunchy.
Oh,
sometimes.
it's like the best man can. Yeah, you've got to really pick your best man because he can come out with a big, huge story that is not appropriate for a wedding, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that goes on at weddings. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the maid of honor, the parents can give speeches. It's just like... Yeah. There's no... maybe there's
no limit on speeches.
Maybe if you have like... if you have the money and you have a wedding planner, maybe they might stick to really strict traditions and go like, oh no, this is not done. This is not wedding etiquette or whatever.
Not done, mate.
But it's like, if it's your wedding, you can have the talk that you want to.
Yeah. You can have the janitor talk if you want to. You know, just like, number 9. Americans can have pretty much whatever flavour they want for cake, while traditional English weddings have fruit cake.
Oh, God.
Yes, that's what you're going to be eating. Fruit cake.
It's so hilarious.
All the time. Every day.
It's hilarious because I've only seen British people like on YouTube and things like that complain about the wedding cake in Britain. Why do people...
Why is it still a thing? Because it's tradition. It's like my dad saying, "Oh, I don't really like mushy peas." So, well, why did you order them? Because it's tradition.
Tradition, isn't it?
Tradition in it, you know. Tradition, you know. It's just like, oh, yeah.
But yeah, because in America, well, our wedding cake was just one that we liked from a restaurant that we really liked.
It was that lemon rosemary cake, wasn't it? Yeah, from Chez Z.
Fabulous. Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Chez Z.
Are they even still open?
In case you want to sponsor us.
I don't even think they're still open, are they?
Yes, they're an Austin
I think they closed down because they didn't want to be associated with us or something.
But yeah, you can... Typically, a wedding cake in America is some type of white cake.
White cake, yeah.
And then the groom's cake will be a chocolate cake
or red velvet.
Red velvet or German chocolate.
Which is basically chocolate, isn't it?
It's just to give like options, but I know if you have, again, it all depends on what you have a budget for and who you are, you know.
Yeah.
Because now they do the different layers of the cake all a different flavored cake. Yeah, so
you can have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry or whatever. Yeah, like a
vanilla,
Neapolitan,
like a 5-year-old's birthday,
like
party.
a Neapolitan cake. And if they don't have cake and ice cream and jelly and ice cream at a wedding, it's useless.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's so funny that people would spend money on a fruitcake and like nobody likes it.
People just go
because it's covered in fondant.
It's very
as
dry.
well,
Yeah, it's covered in fondant. You don't know it's fruitcake until you cut it.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, it's fruitcake.
Oh no, not this again.
Yeah. Number 10. Having an open bar is very uncommon in the UK, while a cash bar in the States can be considered gauche. Is that how you say it? Gauche?
Gauche, yeah.
Gauche. Ooh, tacky.
I mean...
We don't pay for drinks here.
Again, that depends
on who
you are and what your budget is.
No, I've heard people buying, there was a story about my brother paying for everyone's drinks, at my sister's wedding. And, it's just like, it's like, and it's just like, I thought it might have been an open bar. And I've always assumed it's an open bar because I've seen, like, movies and stuff,
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've never actually been to a wedding but my own. But yeah, an open bar is very uncommon in the UK. It's like, yeah, they're charging you. You're going to get charged for that double Jack and Coke or whatever you're having,
Yeah.
And all the champagne or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe, like, provide champagne for your guests if you can, just so everybody has something to toast with.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, they're on their own.
You're on your own. If you want to get drunk at our wedding, go ahead,
Yeah, I mean, we had our, like, we didn't really have a reception. Well, we had a party later on, but we had our reception after the wedding in a restaurant. So it was just like... Yeah. It was just like a dinner, And I think we paid for everybody's food, but I think,
Yeah, yes.
Like, everybody can kind of...
Yeah, everybody can kind of get drunk on their own.
Yeah.
We're not funding your alcoholism here.
We did a champagne for everybody to toast with, and it's like, if you want something else, then
yeah.
We're in a restaurant, you can get it, But yeah, that's it. Those probably are the main differences.
The main differences, yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I know in Britain it's very...
Anything you'd like to add to this episode?
Yeah, if anybody can think of anything else.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Have you been to a wedding in the UK and the US?
I know ones...
Were wowed by the differences? Were annoyed by them?
I know British weddings that I've seen in movies and stuff like that. They typically try to show up in a Rolls Royce, don't they?
They typically try to go, and
carriage.
It's usually like the grey trousers, like the morning suit, I think they call it, and the top hat, the grey top hat. It's all got to look very traditional,
very like Victorian,
Victorian-esque anyway. Because I mean, it's got to look like that, and sometimes they'll even go overboard with the bride arriving by horse-drawn carriage and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm. And then you guys, I don't think you had it on here, but you mentioned quickly about the page boys. That's not the same thing as the ring bearers.
No, page boys. They're called ushers in the UK. The groomsmen.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're called ushers, and they're usually just Yeah, because this was originally a list of 13, so I cut it down and I cut ones out. But yeah, on one of them,
you can go look it up if you want.
You can go look it up. InsideWeddings.com. Inside of weddings, yeah. But yeah, there's ushers and there's like groomsmen. Yeah. Over here, I think that was the difference.
And what do the page boys do though?
The page boys just show you to your seat, I think.
Okay.
And all that. They're usually kids.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be a page boy. I'm 25.
In America,
because usually it's like a page boy is like a kid.
In America, we have the same thing, but we call them ushers, and they are not the same guys that are the groomsmen. They're a different set of guys. Yeah. Usually, they might be a little bit younger than the guys you would choose as groomsmen.
Yeah.
But they're completely different guys that are...
And they're never seen again.
And they're showing you... And they ask you, bride or groom, like...
Bride or groom.
Yeah, who are you who are you here for? Like,
neither. I'm just here, okay? I love weddings.
And they'll sit you either on the bride's side with her family or on the groom's side.
That's a funny thing, you know, just to go off on that one. You know, sometimes, you know, who's that? I don't know who that guy is over there on the groom's side. He's with the groom. It's like, I don't know him. You know, who is he? Go find out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you have a big wedding, it's like anybody could be there. You never know.
Yes, that's true. Anybody could be there. Anybody could turn up out of the woodwork.
I mean, we had a small party, like, a couple weeks later, or a month later after we got married.
Yeah.
And even though it wasn't huge, I still don't remember, like, everybody that was there.
I can't remember everybody. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I remember the group that they had like a groom's cake.
And my mom always says that too. Like, she doesn't remember anything from, you know, who was there, what went on, or anything. It's
yeah. Just like, yeah. Can't remember my wedding at all.
If anything can be taken away from this, no one remembers anything from your
no
wedding.
No one remembers anything from your
Not
wedding.
Not even you.
Not even you.
So don't put too much stock into it.
Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, we really appreciate your support. Without you guys listening and sharing these podcasts with your friends, leaving us reviews and all of that kind of stuff, we would not be able to make these podcasts.
Yes.
A special thank you, as always, to our patrons as well.
Oh, yes.
And I guess we'll talk to you guys next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.